Well, the conversation continues on 411 Forward with a man who has lost count of how many adoptions he has presided over, but he has never lost hope for foster kids.
Yeah, we are joined by Milwaukee County Children's Court Judge Christopher Foley, and I don't know where to begin because the process has been so long. You've been involved in this issue for so many years. But what's the takeaway on your journey when you have seen so many kids who have come through the courts? Has it been more of a blessing than anything?
Yeah, I would say it's been more of a blessing than anything. You see the incredible courage of foster children. You see the incredible courage of their foster parents. And when their foster parents become adoptive parents, you see the remarkable love and commitment that they give to these children when they become their own. So it's been a remarkable journey. That's a good way to phrase it, Charles. So,
what were the biggest challenges? And every time a child is then adopted, you've also had to terminate parents' rights. And so you have had to make that difficult decision as you try to find the right place for the child.
Yeah, that's right. When our children come into foster care, the best thing that can happen for them is if their parents are able to address the safety issues that prevent them from safely parenting their children, and if they go safely home. But oftentimes they can't do that, or they can't do that within the time constraints that we need those issues resolved. And I think that's been a critical issue for the system, is that parents need to understand when there are safety issues, we want to help them, we want their children to go home, but we need to get those issues resolved quickly, and if they can't resolve those issues quickly, then we need to find some other permanent solution for them in the form of either adoption or placement with their relatives on a permanent basis.
Judge Foley, over the years that you've seen a lot of children come through your courts, what would you say are the top 3 reasons why children are placed into foster care?
That's a great question. I would say that the 3 that are most common are drugs and alcohol. Children having children. And I think the one that we struggle with is poverty. I mean, the levels of poverty in this community and how that impacts a parent's ability to provide for their children is a very, very difficult issue. And taking children away from their parents because they're poor is morally and legally impermissible. So we struggle with that issue. But poverty, so much of the time, is a piece of the puzzle.
Can I ask you, because I know that in the state of Wisconsin, we see possibly 100 kids a month coming through the foster care system. In Milwaukee County specifically, have you seen where there haven't been enough foster care parents here that you're having to foster these kids out into other counties?
Yes, and that's a difficult issue as well. We desperately need more quality foster homes in Milwaukee County. We are placing children in Dane County and various other counties, and it's counterproductive to our efforts to help the parents stay connected and resolve the problems that exist.
If the kid's in Dane County, right?
Exactly. And the courage of these foster parents,
As we've seen.
I heard your earlier segment.
Right.
Deb and I could not do it. Because we couldn't give them back.
Right.
Okay.
That takes a special kind of courage and a special type of commitment.
But you speak to the trauma that some of these children have gone through. But are they specifically, is the misperception is that they're all troubled kids?
And that is a misperception. As your earlier guest said, these are not children that have done bad things. These are children that have had bad things done to them. Now, sometimes does that result in those children struggling with their emotions and so forth? Yes, it does. But these are not bad children, and the best thing, when they can't go safely home, the best thing that can happen to them is connecting to a loving, committed family. That solves a lot of these problems.
But Judge, would you also agree, though, that, Charles, there's a difference between troubled child and trauma child?
Yes.
Because all of these children have experienced trauma in some way, but that doesn't mean that they're troubled children because of the trauma.
The effect of trauma on these kids is just immeasurable, and the First Lady's initiative is trying to address those issues. The quality of people that are consulting with the First Lady on this is just beyond The effect of trauma on the brain development for a child that's just an exploding science, and should so inform what we do with these children and these families.
Are more and more judges in the children's court using the ACEs as a way of dealing with the children, whether it be in foster care or in juvenile justice?
It's a dramatic emphasis of the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years through Judge Trigiano and the First Lady's Initiative and the Children's Hospital people, Dr. Hodges and so forth. The emphasis on understanding how that's impacting these children has been just remarkable.
We just have a few seconds left. I know a lot of these children have tugged at your hearts, but one did specifically. You went public. It was a rare moment for you to do that. Give us an update on this little guy.
Polo's doing great. He's just, he's such a remarkable kid. I actually
12 years old?
He was 12 at the time, and I think Polo is probably 14. He was at the house with his brother Hakeem at the end of the summer. I tried to take him for a basketball game a couple months ago.
What happened? He didn't want to go?
I couldn't connect with his dad. Carlos and I kept missing each other, but I talked to Carlos and everything's good. He's a neat kid.
All right. Thank you, Judge Foley.